18 rings, 6 coins to my name, but with 18 rings then I can change the game. Flip them over, turn them around. Oh shit, look, I turned them into a crown. Make it dance, make it work for you. Coin is for the spending, if you scatter it then you'll reap the profits of the seeds you've sown. What do you know, look, I turned it into a throne. We do what we do to keep the water flowing. The more you give, the more it keeps growing. I don't want your gifts, I don't want your charity. I just want to see some other love and prosperity. The wheel keeps turning, the wheel keeps turning, the wheel keeps turning round. If the water won't flow, then the crops don't grow, so the wheel keeps turning round. The wheel keeps turning, the wheel keeps turning, the wheel keeps turning round. If the water won't flow, then the crops don't grow, so the wheel keeps turning round. I make my living by the sweat of my brow, the strength of my voice and my lyrical know-how. I work hard, I spend freely. I'm not rich, but damn, am I dearly placed to take a virtue and preach it to the masses. The fruits of my labor I use to fill glasses. Life is for the living is the message I'm selling. The scent of success is the aroma you're smelling. The wheel keeps turning, the wheel keeps turning, the wheel keeps turning round. If the water won't flow, then the crops don't grow, so the wheel keeps turning round. The wheel keeps turning, the wheel keeps turning, the wheel keeps turning round. If the water won't flow, then the crops don't grow, so the wheel keeps turning round. Old baskets might sound funny, but the truth is wealth's not just about money. It's the push and the pull and the give and the take. It's the things that we share and the joy that we make. Give me your attention, I'll give you my time. Lend me your ears and I'll fill them with rhymes. I'll give you words to make your soul burn and take your breath away in return. Yeah. The wheel keeps turning, the wheel keeps turning, the wheel keeps turning round. If the water won't flow, then the crops don't grow, so the wheel keeps turning round. The wheel keeps turning, the wheel keeps turning, the wheel keeps turning round. If the water won't flow, then the crops don't grow, so the wheel keeps turning round. 18 rings, 6 coins.
Hello everyone, welcome to this very busy stream this evening. I have done my best with names for everyone. I just realised something that I have done that I shouldn't have done, and I've made a massive mistake there because I've got the nameplate mixed up. So I'm going to get that fixed while we're on stream. If you notice it, don't say anything. I will get that sorted now. And definitely don't tell Sharon because I don't want her to kill me in a battle next event.
Bold of you to assume we never go into Anvil.
Well,
it's not usually.
Let's get this sorted quickly.
Definitely no Drusian Anvil ever, honest.
Is that one? That should, in theory, change it straight away. There we go. Changed it straight away. I do apologise for that, Sharon. Straight off the bat, I did really well.
It's never got here early.
Well, everything was going a little bit too smoothly for me. So, but we're here. We're here. Thanks everyone for coming along to watch. Thank you everybody for being here to chat about stuff. chat, feel free to ask all the questions that you have about monstering, skirmishing, NPC, anything like that, kit, monster kit, absolutely anything. No holds barred here. So everybody will recognise Mark to my left there, because Mark this is your third time now, I think. Second,
I'm sure.
I don't know. They've all sort of merged into one. So we can do. So if Mark, if you want to do your introduction again, and then we'll go to Sharon, Kira, and then Faith.
Hi, my name is Mark. I have been skirmishing for quite some time. I can't remember how long. And I started Empire at E1 Year 1.
Okay, cool. Sharon, or Larp Mum.
Hi everybody, I'm Sharon, also known as Millie, Skirmish Mum, Shield Wall, depending on what system, what friend group, what group of people talking. Probably see a lot of you at LARPCon coming up soon. I've been in Skirmish team since 2018, and some of you may know me from the Locom briefs before battles for the last year and a bit, because that's been massive fun and it's kind of accidental, but we'll cover that later.
Excellent. And Kira?
Hi, I'm Kira. I've been part of the Skirmish team since E2 2019, so relatively recently compared to some of these. People may recognise me for the one that tends to stand at the back of battle prep and hand you your latex face.
Excellent. And Faith?
Hi, I'm Faith. I've been part of the Skirmish team since the first event of Year 2. I played Year 1, decided I liked fighting a bit too much, so I went to volunteer for Skirmish crew. I've actually been LARPing since 1989, so a little while. And I also staff ref over on Lorien Trust as well.
Oh, fantastic. That's awesome. So we're here just to... I suppose it's going to be what everyone loves to chat about a lot with LARP. It's a lot of... Oh, Jamie, that's a horrible question. Jamie has asked, what do you have against Mike, a.k.a. Kalen, a.k.a. Ingvar, a.k.a. whatever his High God character was called, a.k.a. his next character, blah, blah, blah. He's lost a character or two every single event in a battle this year. So I think he's on 0.7 now for characters after 1 year. But Jamie, that's a great question. Love it. But yeah, so any stories that you want to share, best moments, worst moments, or anything like that? So we've done. I mean, we've spoken to Mark a lot before, and that. So Sharon, so what's a highlight for you being on Skirmish crew?
I think one of the highlights, my favourite part about being Skirmish crew is the prep before either the first set of skirmishes or before a battle. When everyone's arrived, like, okay, has everyone hydrated, had something to eat? Do you have your base layers? Do you have enough waterproof layers on just in case? Where's your armor? Where's your weapons? Have you got your snaz? Have you got your mask? Whose drink is this? You know, the kind of, it's like a scramble. And then as soon as Andy goes, all right, Skirmish team, everyone just kind of lines up and they're ready to roll out. It's like a production line, but there's no actual order to it. It's just kind of, oh, I need some armor. Here you go. Oh, I need a weapon over there. And my favourite part from E3 last year was a new person started, had done a little bit of like fighting before, didn't really know Empire, didn't really know what they were doing, and Andy was like, okay, look after this one. Right, okay, hold still a second, right, hold this, put them in some armour, strap them with some gear, okay, you're going to need a shield, it's in that building over there, you want one of the round ones, okay, you want one of these, you want one of those. And within about 10 minutes, they were heading out into the woods with us. Still no idea what was going on, but they looked the part. And then they got explained what we were doing and why we were there. And we were a series of 4 encounters. Mostly we had Wintermark coming to see us. We were Jotun. And it was sort of one of those, okay, you're going to pick it up as you go. Just kind of nod. And whenever anyone says anything, go, yeah, accordingly. And they had a great time. Their moment of last year was as the players left, one of the groups of them dying, and I started to sing the Jotun song, and people joined in, and we're all there bleeding out or terminal, still singing the Jotun song about the ancestors calling, and that was that guy's favourite moment from last year.
That's amazing.
So, that tangented a lot, didn't it? I'm sorry, James, I don't know if that answered your question or not.
That's brilliant. That's phenomenal. This is what I love to hear, because that sounds... I think one of the reasons why I wanted to do this stream is because you get a lot of people talking about fighting as their own PC and going off to do that, and they get into it a lot, because we do get into it a lot as our character and that. But I love to monster. Well, before the diagnosis, I loved to monster a lot, because you make up these other characters and you get to know people around you, and you run off doing it all. So, and some of it's really silly, but it's all fun and it's all memorable. And a lot of the times you come out buzzing more from monstering a battle than you do fighting in your own battle. Because I think I don't know if it was you, Mark, who I was chatting to about the Donut of Death at Wintermark.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, and that was a horrible battle. No one enjoyed that fight at all. The monster crew loved it because all of my mates were monstering that fight, but I was in the donut, unfortunately, and it was it wasn't fun. But it's all part of the game, and yeah.
It made for an amazing picture, though. That fisheye lens image, I think it was
Oh,
Oliver.
yeah.
That image of this thin line of Imperials, like 1 or 2 people wide, surrounded by Druge as far as the eye can see, encompassing it.
Yeah.
That's a dramatic picture.
One of the interesting things is about being part of the Skirmish team is that like we're trying to take responsibility for safety in combat as well. So when it gets into those situations and you can see it starting to go wrong, where it could get OC, unsafe, we're the ones that are like try to call people back and pull them back. So they're like, we need to push forwards and take advantage. And I'm like, yeah, that's not going to be safe. Let's go over here instead.
Yeah, definitely. It is very easy to see when you're fighting against skirmish crew compared to where you're fighting against players who are just there to monster, because the players will just that safety doesn't really come into it that much until they're told off by refs and told to push back and things like that. But skirmish crew do stop. They hesitate a lot more when you're surrounded by trees and things like that and stuff, and they'll just ignore you if 4-on-1 and you're in a bush. It's like, they'll ignore you and walk away.
We also tend to spend more time out in the woods, and so we've tripped over that route already. Mate, you want to watch where your feet are. We've paid that tax already, so as a whole we're aware. Oh yeah, don't go over that way because that's where someone almost lost an eye. Watch out for that low branch and things. And then on clearing days and things, people take that into account.
Yeah.
But we can't get in. It's a woods.
Yeah. Freaky Fry, thank you for the bits. So just to say for chat, all of the bits are still going towards the makeover thing. So yeah. So throw money at me. I need it for the makeover. It's great. So I'll go for the next question, and we'll go to Kira for this one. So this one's actually come from my wife. Do you get to play a character? If yes, do you get much time to actually play?
So we have R&R characters. There are some sort of rules and stuff around what we can and can't have. So we're not allowed to take military action and things like that, because obviously we have ground knowledge, so we could potentially influence things there.
Yeah.
But any generic farm, business, manor site, things like that, we can still go out. We typically get released probably 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. So we have from then until time out.
Released. You make it sound like the keepers on leashes. They
Oh,
don't.
no, I was just saying, you're released into the wild. Open the cage. Come on, off you go.
And it really is kind of released as well for briefly. It's like, right, okay, you've got a couple of hours, but you need to be back for the meeting where we're going to talk about tomorrow's battle.
What time does that normally happen then?
What time
I'd say
was it last year?
So we'd normally finish skirmishing between 9 and 9:30, depending on the event. And then battle briefs usually 10ish. So we've normally got time to run off and have a late dinner, changed maybe battle brief for the next day, and then the time is ours after that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a lot of friends going, oh, come see me, come visit. It's like, okay, I am not going to be able to say I'm going to be anywhere before 11 o'clock. So if
Yeah.
you're going to bed when it starts to get cold and dark,
Mm.
that's when you come out. Wait, that sounds more like being unleashed. I think you might have to come back to that.
I've
What
had
would-
that
what-
happen. Go find friends, and like it's like sort of 11 o'clock, and they're like, oh no, they've all gone to bed, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
You know what
How
would
good
really
is
help
it?
us? Oh no, sorry, carry on, Jaron.
Yeah. How have they gone to bed? It's only, oh, yeah, fair. It's almost one.
It would really help us if the military council made their decisions very quickly and very early. Because
Yeah.
when the meeting is late, it's because we're waiting for them to make a decision, and I'm that grumpy guy being like, I want to drink, like I'd be fighting all day, I just want a beer, like hurry up.
Yeah, there's been a few moments where we're sat waiting for the battle brief, and then Andy Connell has to go. "Oh, they've not decided yet. It's going to be 20 minutes late. Go away and get some food."
Yeah. Get some food, take off some kit.
Yeah,
know.
just relax. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, all you're doing, you're fighting all day, so yeah, it would be good. Military council, let's face it, they're useless, and if they made a decision within an hour, I think hell would have frozen over. To be honest, or I'll be watching pigs fly, and that's coming from experience of being involved in it as well for a while. But yeah, well, if I ever see you out after 11 and you haven't got a drink in your hand, I'll make sure you have a drink. Just or you can come and sit by our fire in Wintermark at least. So this one's from Sergeant Robbo. So he says they've said, imagine I'm an idiot, not hard, right? How would you explain the difference in terms of running a skirmish from a battle? What makes it easier, harder? So how about that one for you, Faith?
Wow. Okay. So I mean, there are times where, like Andy will be like, sort of, or Tom will be like, "Hey, I want you to make sure to run this. Here's the plot writer for this skirmish." And that's typically how it's written, because skirmishes are based around a specific piece of plot and an objective that can give the players an advantage or not, or perhaps give the monsters, the orc nations, an advantage if the players don't stop them. So we've got mindful of that. And typically, as well as it being much smaller scale, we have to try and understand what that plot writer's vision is and convert that into how it's actually going to happen on the field as well. And sometimes when they've got ideas like, we really like this and like that's great, but it won't work like that. So we'll do it slightly like this instead. And that's why we're, the experts, the professionals who can actually get this done and make it into a really top-notch experience for the players as well. And that's the thing that we're really mindful of with the skirmishes as well, is telling the story and making sure it's a great experience. With the battles, there's a lot more to it, and I mean a lot more with the the objectives and so many more people actually running it, making sure the separate parts happen. It gets broken down into different areas and different commanders, and all the structure of the reporting lines. I mean, the skirmish crew will be playing like all sorts of different roles, and that's organised in advance. Like, you're a unit commander, you're a unit commander, you're a unit commander, you're runners, and all of those roles.
So what do you prefer? No, that's all good. I mean, what do you prefer then? So all of you, what do you prefer? Is it battles or skirmishes? What are your favourite to fight in?
I prefer the skirmishes just purely because of the you can actually have more of a personal impact on the game for the players involved. Just things like, and some people talk about people cheating or not taking hits. Sometimes I like doing the reverse. Like I'm like, I've jumped out and away from two players who are trying to make their way back out the forests back to the main group, and they're like, oh no, and one of them, managed to come out with a really good combo and like lands 3 hits on me, and rather than just stay there and block their way just long enough so that the other monsters catch up with them, I'll be like, you know what, that looked great, I'm going to die dramatically and fling myself backwards.
Okay, Mark, what about you?
I agree with Faith. I think like skirmishes give you more opportunities to kind of play a role. In battle, you get lost, right? Like in battle, you are no matter what you're doing, even if you're someone special and you're hamming it up, and I always ham it up. You kind of lost. You're lost in the crowd. In the skirmishes, you're like someone, right? Like it's easier for the players to see who you are, for you to see who the players are, and there's a lot more back and forth. Um, and it's easier to understand. Like it's easier for me to be like, okay, here, like we're holding this fort. I know what's going on. I know I can see what's going on. When I'm on the ground in a battle, no idea what's going on. Absolutely none. Like, well, within my like little sphere of influence maybe, but like
Mm.
I never know what's going on in a battle because I don't play any kind of command role. So
Yeah, yeah. Okay, that's cool. Kira?
I would say I'm probably 50-50.
Okay.
So I agree with the others that skirmishes generally are. I mean, we skirmish probably we skirmish for a lot longer than we battle anyway. However, my highlights of last year are from two of the battles. Thanks to the honor that was taking the field as an NPC. So it changes the experience from the others. They're saying that you don't get to play a character as much in a battle, but obviously if you're giving a specific NPC role to do in a battle, that makes it a lot different. So people watching might or might not recognise the banner behind. So I got in the honour of taking the field as Isa Winterborn for the last two battles that we've done as Jotun.
Okay.
So that makes it a little bit different as you're leading a specific unit. So I know one thing that I think either Josh or Mark said on a previous stream was that when we skirmish, we are skirmishing as a group, as a team.
Yeah.
When we battle, the skirmish team get split up and will get spread all across the field. The bonus of going out there as a specific NPC unit leader is that had a unit of skirmish team.
Okay, that's cool. So how about you, Sharon?
I'm kind of with Kira. I have highlights from both battles and skirmishes. The skirmishes I've liked the most have been the weird ones.
Okay.
So rather than just go here, get a thing, come back alive, it's okay, go here, but so trees are jumping out and attacking you, but they won't attack you lot, but they will attack the Thule or something that's following with you. And we could tell the plot writer for that Taz, Grandmother Barushka, had a specific sort of scenario in mind of the players basically walking through this path through the woods under assault, but they're not being attacked, but they can hear violence going on and around them. And at one point I think I got to chat to one of the Imperial Orcs that had gone with them, and I asked them a question, and just another crew member in a ghillie suit just ripped me away from the conversation. And I had to fight them before I could get back to the group, which we had to keep up with. But at the same time, we weren't under the same protection they were. It was really thematic. And I'm told that both Taz was really happy with it and the players were traumatized by what had happened. They absolutely loved it. But at the same time, the battle with the Sandfishers, I think E2 last year, I had so many roleplay moments with these players rescuing me, and one of them found out later on Facebook, was this your Sandfisher? Like, you mean it wasn't real? And the realization. I hope they weren't like in the middle of class or something when they realized and they had that moment, because that would have been just, I would have laughed too hard. But yeah, it depends on what we're doing, where we're doing it. I also like the battles where I'm just in charge of the hospital, just being shouty and goady at the back. And the way that the players who are NPCing that the ones who've gone, okay, I want to be a low com role. Right, okay, you are not going to be bored. Have you had anything to drink? Have you been to the loo? Because you're going to be busy.
Yeah.
You get so much from people who want to come in and, okay, I'm going to try something new. Oh, this is fun. I didn't realize how quickly low com was going to become really popular. Better contest.
That's good. It highlights the amount of different roles that you can do when monstering a battle or being a part of skirmish crew, because it's not all just being a fighty person. There's a lot of different things that you can do, be it NPCs, there's magic, there's healing, there is the fighting obviously in that.
I mean, there's a couple of times for battles where like Andy's like, "Hey, we're going to play a blind here. I'm not going to be the general in charge," and he's like, "Oh, who is?" And he's like, "You are," and points at me, and I'm like, "Okay then, all right. I'm in charge, and I'm 5'7". Right, I'm going to allow people to come with me to relay orders. Meanwhile, the players are going to go, there's Andy Connell over there, and they all make a beeline for him and kill him and think they've killed the general, and he's just some third orc on the left, you know? And I'm over this way going, right, you guys go over there, you go fetch 20 people, go over that way, hit that. Everybody's ignoring me. This is all going well.
That's brilliant.
I have to add on to that and say, yeah, it's quite funny watching players walk onto the battlefield, clock Andy Connell, and just tunnel in on him, regardless of the scenario or situation.
Yeah, I am guilty of that. I'm not gonna lie. I do really enjoy fighting Andy. He is a wonderful human being, and he is a lovely person to fight against. And I do love hearing him call out rules as well. It's very funny to witness. So I think I mentioned this on the last stream. I witnessed someone with a bow, and it hit a flag, and it just bounced down, and it landed on the top of someone's head. And the archer shouted, "You're down, you're dead." And all you could hear is Andy Connell off to the side telling him to shut the fuck up. Basically, it's like, "You're not dead, carry on." And that was it. It was just like, please, you can't, just don't. But Andy, bless him, is yeah, wow. Even when he's monstering, a gentle giant. I think he's lovely, and always fun to fight against, especially when he's beating you up as well.
Sometimes gentle giant, depending on what kit he's wearing, you know.
Yeah. I have fought against him quite a few times, and he has been a lot of fun. Especially because he has a knack for pulling people in, like you say, when they get tunnel vision on him, and he pulls people in, and he's just using himself as a decoy because he knows that everyone will go for him. So, because I followed him in a skirmish, and there's 6 of us, we went off and followed him, and it turned out we had left the Empress behind, and we didn't realise. Yeah. I don't really care. She rejected my proposals 3 times, so as far as I was concerned, she could go spit. Yeah, I was a jilted man. What can I say?
Heartbroken for you.
Yeah. Well, he's dead now, but who cares? But yeah, so it's really nice to hear all that, and it seems like, because I think I picked up on this the first time chatting to Mark. On the first stream, was that the skirmish crew, it's one big, it's like a family in a way, is that because you've all got your groups and you all talk a lot and everything.
Yeah, I mean, we'll end up like sometimes where it's like, right, we're going out in the woods, and actually, you know, this team's going to be out for like 4 encounters, and we'll have done 2, and we're still out there, and then it's like, someone's like, "Oh, I'm really hungry," and someone's like, "Well, you know," rummage in their bag. "I bought all these snacks from like Sharon most of the time. It's like, I bought all these snacks," and someone's like, "Oh, I bought extra bottles of energy drink," and people just sharing it around, and we're just chatting and just chilling and sort of, and we're all looking out for each other and for everybody else that turns up to volunteer, because we do get people turning up to volunteer to go, "Hey, can I just monster for a bit?" And sometimes they get to come out with us as well.
It's like a mid-violence picnic.
Yeah, violence picnic.
Mid-violence picnic. You sort of, have a snack in between the murder.
I was going to say, just
someone clip that. It's a violence picnic. That's amazing. Skirmish crew need that on a t-shirt.
I was just going to add,
what's Larp Mum got in a pouch? Loads of Freddos.
Oh yeah, Freddos are the fueling PD for decades. So this
I was gonna say I was just gonna add one thing onto the back of what Faith said.
Right.
Is that over the last, particularly the last year, is that the skirmish team has grown quite considerably. We are now nearing the fabled 100. So players turning up just to monster for a skirmish isn't a thing anymore, as far as I'm aware. So just that's all I wanted to add on. Is I know Faith took a bit of a breakout, so something that's slightly different over the last year is that if people do turn up, we tend to just turn them away because numbers are very carefully controlled.
Yeah.
And I think
That's really
people
so
who want
great.
to skirmish, they have to do it for like a whole year or something, or a certain number of events, or that there's rules involved. Contact Andy for that.
Yeah. 'Cause-
Emus is where it's at for volunteering if you're a player and want to get involved and help out with monstering fights, elite military units,
Yeah.
and there are specific ones put together.
Yeah, because long gone are the days where like year 1 and year 2, year 3 as well, I think, where me and Kit, we used to get a bit bored during a Saturday, and we used to turn up and help out with skirmishes. So they'd chuck us in monster kits, and we'd go out as like a tyrannid type things and stuff like that and help out because it was just a lot of fun. So, but it's good though that you've got that dedicated team. So if people are interested in that, let's push you up to the 100. Let's get that going because it all helps. Sorry, Mark, I interrupted you.
Sorry, Mark.
Oh no. I was gonna say, Sharon's right. It is, from what I understand, if you want to be skirmish crew, you have to commit to a year. So, which is a little shame. You can't go one on, one off. But again, that's for we've got backstage knowledge, and they also want to know how many people they can rely on for that kind of thing. So
yeah, makes sense.
I mean, obviously your situation can change and you can't do it anymore, but that's the,
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe each nation has their own EMU unit, or quite a few do. So, contact a group of people that you know who already do EMUs. If you need to set one up for your nation, then obviously check with battles at PD email. And in general, we can get you more violence if you need more violence. Just need to know the right people to talk to.
Violence is always good. Chat, I do apologise. I'm really behind in the questions. So, so bonus points to the person who says, hello, Steve, from the future, in chat, as they normally do here. So, Ryan's asked a good question. I sort of stopped on this question because I want to hear your answers to this one. Everyone's big headline moment from last year. So, a big thing that you did. I suppose, yeah, you can talk about it. It's fine. I've given you permission. It's it's all good. So, what's a big thing that you have done last year? I mean, it doesn't have to be in a fight. It doesn't even. I mean, I suppose, yeah, at Empire would be preferential. But I mean, to be honest, it's all LARP. I just want to hear amazing things that we've all done because we're all LARPers. Whoever wants to go first, go for it.
So, Sharon, you go first.
I think accidentally making locom a thing that everyone wanted to do. I was basically just told, right, so these guys are locom, they're going to be helping you out in a hospital type thing, being Jotun healers. Okay, right. Just keep them in one place. So I will just start talking to anyone, and ended up giving a full briefing on how to heal in Empire. That if I start yelling at you to move, you have 60 seconds before I start yelling. We're going to have to move this hospital tactically. So if we need to move everyone, whatever patient you've got, move them and then heal them. Make sure they're not going to get any worse, but still, this is going to be a mobile situation. We're not going to be a static fixed point. Oh, have you never done healing before? Okay, here's how you do it. You get these cards. I got given a number of cards to give out to people. Are we going to have mages? Okay, mages over there. Right, so if you don't have any cards, you're a ambulance. You basically get the wounded people away from the line. If you are healing someone within 20 feet of the line, you're probably a little bit too close. Because if they start to move, if they move quickly, people are going to fall over you. That becomes a safety issue. Do not get injured. Just, giving people pointers on battlefield awareness, on what to do and where to stand. And we lost very few healers for saying we had a lot of people around the front lines pulling the wounded away to get them healed, to get them back in again. It worked really efficiently. The numbers stayed pretty well. We didn't have to have massive amounts of respawns as usual because everyone was on it. And the next event, there was so many people came back for that, and they brought friends. It's like, okay, we've got quite a large crowd. Is anyone actually fighting in the battle? Are you all here? Sorry, Andy. And yeah, it's become like a sort of lower combat, higher roleplay option for people, but we still need people on the rank and file who are out there being big heroes that are going to actually, stand up against the Empire and stop them doing whatever thing they're trying to do today.
That's cool. That's really, really cool. Kira?
So I've already touched on Isa Winterborn. She was probably one of my favourites. But an actual for me that didn't involve any actual combat. I was part of Matilda Fisher's bodyguard that went into Anvil at the last event. And I have to say, for a roleplay moment, it was one of the best moments of the entire year. So shout out to any marchers that are listening. But standing outside the Senate while they're all shouting and screaming, but safely, it was amazing. We had no idea what was going on inside because the bodyguards weren't allowed inside the Senate. But standing outside, having no idea what was going on, whilst being shouted at by an angry mob, the entire time we felt safe. So basically, massive round of applause to everyone that was involved in that.
I can see a few marches in chat, so that's that's good. Yeah, I heard about that. That was a wonderful thing to hear about secondhand as well. So that was big. That was really, really big. Faith?
I wasn't at events last year. I've been out for actually 3 years now for medical reasons, but I'm back this year. So, I can tell you my favourite for the last event I was at before that.
Yeah, go for it.
There was a battle that the players needed to disrupt 2 rituals. One of them was in the woods, and they'd made great progress across the field. And I was, they were flapping the first one and needed to make their way into the woods. And there was okay, well, we're screwed. How about they go take 20 people and harry their flanks and see if you can encourage them to go the wrong way. So a bunch of us, just as Druge, were oh no, they're this way, and there was some ridiculous ham acting of don't let them come this way, try and hold the line, and pulled half of the players completely the wrong direction. They managed to make it with seconds to go because a bunch of them realised, but there was just a lot of fun in terms of the interacting and actually the role play around that. And the Druge can be great fun with that, as well as just stabbing people.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Yeah, players are dumb. It's speaking as a player.
It's difficult when you're in a battlefield and you've not got a video game overhead view of what's going on. You can only see what's in front of you. You don't know where the things you're trying to get to are. And as a skirmish crew, typically we play the command and infrastructure in battles as well. So there's a lot of the trying to understand that. And sometimes you completely lose track of it yourself of where am I even supposed to be? Where are the people I'm supposed to be in charge of?
Yeah.
5 minutes into a fight, just everything's chaos.
Yeah. Just if we, remember the Wintermark versus the War Rhino first time round.
Yeah. Those mess.
That was hilarious.
Don't all stand in a clump.
Yeah, I monstered that fight. I was monstering that battle, and I remember just watching it. That was oh dear. Oh, lots of people dead over there. Never mind.
Would anybody like a traumatic wound?
No, I love traumatic wounds. It's a result of a good fight. You're doing well. for me, the in-character traumatic wounds and the out-of-character, like coming out covered in little cuts and bruises and stuff like that because you got stuck in, and that's wonderful fun. Absolutely great fun. Mark, what about yourself?
So 12 Breaths was really good this year, but I can't talk about 12 Breaths. So if you were there, you know, and if you weren't, then too bad.
Excellent.
But the one that I can talk about was I got to go into Anvil as one of my favorite Herald types, Herald of Kathakane, and basically be a hype man for the group of wizards that were representing Kathakane in the like big wizard tourney.
Yeah.
So, and where are we? Let's see if I can bring it up.
Ooh.
Is that working?
No.
There
we go.
There I am, giving it the big one. Waving a bit of paper around, yelling about how cool the wizards were and how they were definitely going to win. They didn't win, but that's okay.
You look like a player in that, mate. Not gonna lie, you look like a player.
Yeah, thanks. Wait, hold on. How dare you?
No,
I
that's
think
awesome.
that's a compliment.
Yeah, definitely a compliment.
You
Yeah,
look like
thank
you
you.
belonged in Anvil.
Yeah.
So another sort of like a three-part question here. Do you think there is a better way that could optimize the battle brief, such as over WhatsApp? Feels like it's a time sink for you all, or is there a way to incentivize players to make better military council decisions for this to improve crew experience?
It's got a lot better over the years. Like, first year I was doing it, it was like 2 hours worth of just sitting around waiting, followed by an hour and a half to 2 hours worth of meeting. Yeah, it's got a lot better. There's a lot of effort being put into making it a lot less of a time sink for everybody involved.
Okay. So how long do you normally wait for now then? Is it like half hour or something? Or...
Yeah, I think over the last year, there's only been a few occasions where they've been late, and obviously it tends to affect the Friday night because they've already made the decision on the Saturday. So Saturday night we can usually just get on with it.
Okay, that's cool. So Beth's asked, does crew change a lot, or are you generally working with the same people at each event? So, Sharon?
It can change quite a bit. It gets to the point where knowing everyone's name and face becomes kind of a game of guess who. The Larper with the beard really narrows it down. The lady with the nice long hair, again, doesn't narrow it down a vast amount. You know, it's sort of a I recognize this person, I recognize that person, I know that person from that role they played that time, or like honestly, I think I recognized Mark's voice before like I learned his hairstyle. So between all the different plays, all the different names you've got around, I think Andy's the only one who can keep us all straight.
I was going to just add on to something you said there. I recognised Mark from his Goldie kit before I knew his name.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's a core group that tend to be at every single event or near enough, and then there's sort of people that we get new people pretty much every event, so it's nice to see. And life sometimes gets in the way, so obviously people will drift in and out. But yeah, I'd say there's a core group that tend to be the same, and then a second group that change as and when.
Like a bunch of the team, like neurodiversity means I'm rubbish with names, like truly awful, but I recognise faces like hi, it's like hugs and everything like that, and you're like chatting and sort of and then everybody puts their orc mask on, and then suddenly nobody knows who everybody is again, apart from the odd person that you recognise because you're like, oh, I can see your beard sticking out and I know who you are, or I recognise that one bit of kit or something.
Yeah, see, that's the downside to having made really distinctive kit, is that even in kit, people can then recognise you.
Yeah, I used to get picked up a lot when I had my mask on, because where my beard used to be like another like 2-3 inches longer, it always used to poke out of my mouth, so you couldn't actually see like the lower half of my face because I just had a beard poking out because I hadn't cut it to incorporate the beards.
Worry about the snouts then around the mouth, so it's just the eyes for you.
Yeah.
Battle pandas and war raccoons, as used to say in Battle Prep 10.
Yeah.
Um, well,
Love
you
that.
know, well, the thing is, you have people come through and they're putting snaz over their entire face. Like my friend, no, it's just around the eyes and around the mouth. That's the only bit the mask won't cover. Battle panda or war raccoon, choose your spirit animal wisely, and then go out there and make someone bleed.
Yeah.
I have had the occasional person give other animals, but I prefer those two really because you can imagine the eyes and the mouth for that, and then everything else is just kind of a mask take care of it.
Yeah. No, that's good. Bolam's asked, good safe player side, what's something you enjoy seeing in the players from the skirmish side?
Safe fighting. Especially when the lighting's starting to go and people have got two-handed weapons, just thinking really, really carefully about the fact that that's not just some nameless monster, that's a person who's there to play, to be that orc so that you can have fun with your game. We're real people, and getting smooshed in the faces with pole arms is not fun for anybody.
No.
Please don't do it.
Yeah.
I could say, so one thing I was going to add on to that is, one thing I enjoy watching is, as well as the decisions that you see them take about safety and being safe, but the in-character decisions when you've got that one person that's suddenly trying to be the voice of reason and saying, hang on guys, this is too easy, or this looks like it's the wrong way, and I really enjoy seeing and hearing the role play. So that's what I enjoy.
Yeah.
I think my favorite thing that I like to see from players is proper executions. You have decided you are going to end my life. You are terminating me. My story ends here, and you are taking that responsibility on. And if you're properly selling that, yeah, I'm actually going to put this sword all the way through your neck, your head is coming off. You want to see that person actually in that moment go, yeah, I'm committing murder right here. Yeah, it's on the battlefield. Yeah, we have to. But at the same time, you're ending a life right there. Take a moment and just appreciate the fact that it's 5 seconds of you going, do I want to do this? You're Jewish, yes, I do. Die, die, die. You want to see them sell it and actually be invested in that moment rather than just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right, and then walk off. Like, you're not buying milk. You're killing someone here.
Yeah.
Take it seriously. Give it some respect. And when they do that properly, it's like.
Yeah. We'll come back to that after Mark's given an answer, and then
we can't hear you.
You can't hear me. Ooh.
Oh no!
I didn't mean to kill his voice.
There we go. How's that? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
So Discord had decided to change from my microphone to my webcam microphone.
Nice.
So we'll so Mark, if you give an answer, then we'll come back to the whole executions things because I've got a question.
I'll second the role playing thing. Like I like to see people afraid, like because I know they're not afraid, but like if I'm playing a scary character, people are like and I'm like great, I'm doing my job, you're doing your job, like this is great. And I also like to see players taking their hits, not necessarily in a like counting the hit points way because they should be doing that anyway, but an actual like you've been struck down, I've got to cleave to the leg, like I want some reaction here, not just like I've been cleaved to the leg, turn around and take a step back and kind of half-heartedly slump down, and you're like, why do I bother?
Yeah.
It's interesting when you're fighting players who aren't used to that kind of level of role play, and I'll like take a really solid two-handed blow to the shoulder or something, and I'll rock back and go and hold my shoulder, and they'll be like, "Oh, you okay? You okay?" And I'm like, "Yes, it's role play. It's okay."
Yeah. Yeah, it's really nice to see. I mean, not just in a combat situation where you see people with the role players really getting to people, and you see it's like other people sort of like they'll step out of character just to check in because they'll see someone who's either really angry, really upset, or something is going on, and that's really nice, really nice to see.
A lot of the time in combat, like if the adrenaline's really hitting, you'll tunnel vision down to the people you're looking at. And you've forgotten that you're stepping backwards in woods, or you're moving into another group, or you're about to trip over a body, or it's good to see the people who've been doing this a while because the biochemistry is going. Like you're feeling pumped up, you've got the adrenaline going, your energy is rushing, everything around you is in hyper focus. but at the same time, you're like, okay, that person over there is about to trip over that tree really badly. We don't want to oversee injury. You know, you want to step in, you want to protect everybody, but at the same time, I'm going to kill your character.
Yeah.
It's a weird dichotomy.
Because say one thing I'd say on the reverse of that is one thing I really enjoy that I've had on the reverse side of that is when players actually point it out to crew, because we're also humans. Sometimes we turn around the wrong way and don't realise where we are in the woods, and there's a tree stump behind you. And I have had players out of roleplay and say, "Oh, just watch the ditch or the tree," and it's nice to see it back.
Yeah, I mean, because I've done so much fighting at Empire. I mean, I've been there since very, very beginning, E1, year one, and you have to do these things. You have to stop, because I've witnessed. So the injuries are either they're not that bad or they're really bad. But thankfully the really bad injuries are few and far between, so I've witnessed a few of the really bad injuries that have happened, and you want to stop them from happening. So if you're watching someone like walk backwards and you can see there's a felled tree or something behind them, I'll just put my weapon, I'll lower them, and I'll be shouting at them that there's something there. But it's also, you can tell the more experienced players when you're fighting against them as well, because I've been pushed back as part of a line and I fell into a 4-foot hole. It was full of water and it was literally up to about here, and I'm there like that, and all of the monster crew were there, they were just wailing on me, and it's just sort of like, really? This was in a battle, so they're all going to be players, and they were all just wailing on me, and I just stood there. It's like, this is a bit cold. I'm very wet now. And then a ref just came running over, told them all where to go, and sort of helped me out. And I'm just sort of like, yeah, I can't carry on now like this. It was raining. It was like minus something or other. Yeah. So I was asked very politely to leave the field and go and get changed and dry. So, but you get that. It's just about, it's common sense at the end of the day, isn't it? Really. It's about thinking about things, and you don't want people to get hurt. You don't want people to potentially catch hypothermia and stuff like that as well. So it's all about thinking about what's best for everyone around you too. So, but let's get on to executions. This is a subject I love because they're great fun if done properly. They are really, really good if done properly. So as you have all probably witnessed, players who do it really well, and players who will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 done next, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 done next, and stuff like that. So if you've got any advice, or what's your favourite one, or we won't do worst, because if someone watches it and thinks, oh, I've done that, then we're kind of calling them out a little bit. But if you are one of these people who just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 done, stop it, do something proper. Because as Sharon said, you're murdering someone. Think about it. So what's been your favourite execution that you've had done to you, you've witnessed, or anything like that, if you can remember any?
So I can't remember a specific one as such, but what I do enjoy is when players will play it up to the people around them, so that they're actually making a big deal out of it, both to themselves and to all of the other players around.
Yeah.
Calling you out and being like, oh, look at this Druge on the floor and things like that. And I enjoy it when they make a big deal.
Yeah. That's really cool. Sorry, Faith, you were going to say something?
Yeah. Like the first time that we were playing Druge, and we were told, hey, in U5, you're allowed to execute players, but specific circumstances you're after, people who are shouting orders, if you can get them and so forth. So only the people that are in charge. And, we got to a situation where there's a player character on the floor who was clearly been shouting and giving things, and there's about a dozen other characters around him on the floor, and we just hadn't up. And it wasn't just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a lot of shouting and goading that we're going to do this, and you see that from monsters, right? So the skirmish crew, we're going to kill your friends on the floor, and people can go over, we're going to rescue them. And then someone with a really big two-handed axe actually just executed the unit commander player character on the floor with a really massive blow in front of about 50 player characters who all like just shock horror. Those dudes actually just executed someone in front of us. Oh my god, this is like a game changer kind of thing at the time. And like the palpable shift in the tone of the battle, because suddenly all of the player characters became that much more vindictive, and within a couple of minutes there were orcs being executed brutally on the floor across the entire battlefield, and people were doing it really kind of like as if they're proper angry, and it was great to see.
I think I remember that moment as well. It was talked about out of the battle for a long time when the first player was executed by a monster. It was very... No one believed it. It was one of those things. It was like people going around going, "Oh yeah, it's fake news. It's fake news," constantly, and then it became no, it actually happened, and a lot of people were talking about it, and everyone was then, okay, what we do? Why are they executing us now? And then it sort of came out of an out of character discussion. But for me, I thought they should have been doing it since year one. Personally, I think do it straight from the beginning. Your barking orders, right? You're going to get executed, and just do it that way. But because it creates the fear now, it creates the fear of being a general, being a captain, being a sergeant, a runner. You put yourself in those positions, chances are, if you're downed, you might not be getting back up again.
And it's interesting because characters die in battles and skirmishes all the time anyway, but the actually being visibly executed by the other side in front of a whole lot of people is like a big deal. And it can be a really dramatic death for a character as well, and can really make it for that player. Like, their character didn't just die on a battlefield in a ditch.
Yeah.
They're executed by the general of the opposing side or something.
Yeah, that's all.
I was just going to add that you asked about our favourite execution, and I've actually remembered probably my favourite one, and it was actually a not execution. So it was actually a player that came up to me as I was on my bleak hunt as a monster, and actually load of role play, and was basically like, "You don't deserve to go quickly. Like, I'm just going to leave you there, and you're going to suffer." And that's probably my favourite.
That's cold. I love it.
That's amazing. That's really, really good. So how about you, Sharon, Mark? Have you got ones?
So my favourite execution that I saw was we were Jotun. We were in the woods, lined up like dozens long, singing the Jotun songs. I think it was one of the egregores was executed in front of the Jotun lines. Just that was just thematic.
Wow.
The problem we had with that was that I was leading the singing. I could only remember the chorus for the song, and I was racking my brains trying to think of how the rest of the song goes. Because on the other hand, the repetition helped, I think, and just everyone joined in, and we had dozens of people singing the Jotun song as this egregor's having their head caved in with a hammer, and the Empire is just quitting the field in defeat. And yeah, that was a beautiful execution to see. The favorite one that I've had was back to the Sandfisher battle, where basically I was definitely a Sandfisher orc. I certainly wasn't a Druge pretending to be a Sandfisher orc. And I was literally, some of us there were Sandfishers there. There were people to be rescued, and there were those of us who weren't. And I basically spent most of the battle being passed from one Imperial to another to be kept safe. And at one point, this gentleman was keeping me safe, and this Druge archer just appeared from behind us and points an arrow at me, and he steps in the way, and the Druge goes, "Step aside," and the Imperial goes, "No, your funeral," arrow to the chest in pit. Guy goes down. I'm like, that was so heroic because I'm drawing my blade and putting the venom on it. So someone sees and comes over. "What were you doing?" "Nothing. I'm searching you." "Okay, yeah, you find this blade." "Okay." She drops me to the floor. At which point, other people come over going, "What are you doing? What's going on?" It's a sandfisher, and the people this side of me can't see as I look at the guy who took the arrow, and as he goes, "No, it's a Druge," and I just give him the most shit-eating grin you've ever seen as they then execute me.
Wow.
And that was so much fun.
That's awesome. That's really cool. I like that. I mean,
like
it's all the...
one of the big important things with these big showpiece executions as well, like the one you were talking about, is making sure there are people there who get to see it, who get to walk away, I see, and talk about it as well.
Yeah, that's brutal, that one. I like it. I like it a lot.
That one actually got a little bit better because one of the people who'd first found me at the start of the battle found the body later on, because I stayed phys-repping the corpse.
Yeah.
And they had a look at the body, and I was like, "Yeah, it seems to be a clean execution. It wasn't made to hurt." And he was like, "Who has executed this poor Sandfisher? Maybe we should take them back to Anvil so the Imperial Orcs can make sure they get over the abyss." I was like, "I'm just going to bounce on the gate. I can't go." And he wished me well across the abyss to join my ancestors. I was like, "This Druge is laughing away the entire way, mate. Thank you so much."
That's awesome.
That was the person who found out via Facebook I wasn't a legit Sandfisher. It was just so many layers to that one battle. Just kept giving.
That's amazing. I love it. Okay. Mark, how about yourself?
I can't remember. I think it was a skirmish, or it might have been a battle. But I was probably a Goatee. I was a Jotun, certainly, and I'd been downed. And a character came over, and we had a little conversation. He was like, "All right, do you want me to execute you? Or do you want me to just leave you to bleed out?" And I said, "No, I want to die with my weapon in my hand. So if you could put my axe in my hand, because I've lost all strength now, and I'll die like that." And we had, I was talking about how I'd done my thing and I'd crossed the abyss. My ancestors were proud of me, and he killed me mid-sentence. He executed me mid-sentence. It was great. So I was like talking about it, and he was just like, execute. And I was like, I just died. And I was like, just perfect kind of cutoff, like punctuation.
That's phenomenal. I mean, that's 10 out of 10 for comedic effect right there. That's brilliant. I mean, because I used to have a big hammer thing, and thank you for the bits, Idol. That's awesome. Thank you, mate.
Hefty choo-choo.
Hefty choo-choo. Thank you. And my character was just a psychopath. So he enjoyed the kit. I'm amazed he lasted 9 years. To be honest. So his execution was very visceral, and I used to get told off all the time in character by generals and stuff like that. So they were like, "They're Jotun, we're not executing them." And I'm just like, oh, okay. So there's me executing them left, right, and centre. But it was very much, people were like, "What's he doing?" Because I'm on my knees next to them, just holding the head of the hammer, just smacking it. It's just like that repeatedly. And then people are just like, "What the fuck is this guy?" Basically. And it was a lot of fun. And then I developed, I had a mace, because I use ambi. And I had one, and I used a golf swing for it. So it's literally like 5 seconds of teeing up the shot and just like make full on eye contact with the orc as then you take the swing. And it was just great. And that was it. It was lovely. But speaking as someone who is as a player who has executed another player in a battle as well, that was wonderful to do, because this was someone who had had allowed my character's brother to die in a skirmish. They just left him behind. And when I went over and found their body while they're on their bleed count, and they said, "Oh, you going to pick me up?" And I said, "No, I'm just going to be the last thing you see." And then I killed them. And no, I didn't kill them. I watched them bleed out. I just sat there as they bled out and watched them die, and that was it. And then I robbed them and went back, because such a lovely guy. But it's the role play of it all. That's what you come back with, and yeah, there was a nice moment between me and that player anyway. But it's out in the ether as an OC thing. But it was, yeah, I love those sides of it. So I'm even further behind now with chat. We're doing It doesn't. It happens every now and again. These sorts of things where we talk so much that we get behind. So with chat, I am very, very sorry. So linked to a couple of questions before from Pete. What do you think players could not do to make it more fun to skirmish? There was actually a comment there. I think they're from a member of Skirmish Group. They say, "Stop destroying our fucking banners." Yeah.
I will say, I think since we've had Mark and Josh on a couple of streams, we have actually reintroduced banners this year, and seems to have gone okay. Like, I enjoy making banners, so I've made quite a few. And yeah, they've all, as far as I'm aware, they've all made it back. So, well done.
So I've just seen something in chat from Carton. He's just said, "You're not buying milk, you're killing someone," is my new favourite quote. That needs to be on a t-shirt. Oh dear, just purely, I mean, for the hefty fan watching, I think we should buy Skirmish Crew make Skirmish Crew a load of t-shirts with quotes on it, just print off just for Skirmish Crew, because that's wonderful.
Mark, represent.
Yeah.
So I've got mine's on as well.
Mine's 3 layers in because I always layer up, but just trust.
I used to be Gate Crew, and I used to red cap a bit right early on, so mine's currently in a drawer, about 2 sizes too small for me.
Question is, Mark, which one is it?
Oh, it's one of the newer ones. I've got about like 4 of these somewhere, but oh wait, is this a new one?
No, that's
No, this is an old one.
That's an old one.
That's the old one, because that's the same one I'm wearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I think I was wearing the new one the other day because I'm wearing my backup t-shirts before I go away, so I don't have to do more washing.
I think what I've got is the do it on purpose one.
The new one. For those that don't know, Empire produces, PD produces crew t-shirts, and so we get a free t-shirt every year or so, and they have different slogans on them.
I think PD should give me one. You know, just cause. We've lost Mark. There we go. He's back.
All right.
To the question, Steve.
Yes.
Things I'd like players not do: head hits. I keep my brain in here. I need it to work. And you know, there are different reactions to head hits. Some people it stuns. Some people it makes really angry really quickly, and I have to take a moment to just disengage from combat and calm down. And multiple head hits are not fun. And I have actually sort of returned to the respawn point and had to take a few minutes to go back into battle.
Yeah.
Because it repeated backs to the noggin.
I mean, I've got a bit of titanium plate and some bolts holding my skull together here, so I'm keen to not have that separate. So no head hits, please. Head hits is fine, but not really brutal.
Yeah.
I'm kind of trained to hit people in the head. I feel like I would be a little bit hypocritical to say don't hit me in the head. I try not to do it much, but I would like people to pull their blows. That is what I would like to do.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna bop me in the head, that's okay. Like, but pull that blow more than you're pulling the other blows. It's really easy to accidentally hit people too hard. I've done it, and I always feel really bad about it. I should know better.
Yeah.
But yeah, just think about it. You know, it's really easy, especially for new players in the height of battle, and they're really hyped up, and they an orc, whoa, and they just twat you across the face, and you're like,
Yeah. I think that's. I think everyone pulling their blows is an absolute must. Because I think the one that that got to me at, I think it was at E3, was I was talking to a load of new players because I had a period of time where I tried to get on the new player skirmish. I just wanted to have a fight before a thing after lockdown, and I was told I wasn't allowed. Basically, so it was like, oh, that's fine. But I spoke to a lot of players and I asked how the new player skirmish was, because Bethany in chat, her very first event, she lasted a few minutes before she rolled her ankle in the new player skirmish, so wasn't able to fight for a while. It was cause of a lot of hilarity for people who know her. It was great. But a lot of the players said they didn't go on it. They had no LARP fighting experience, and they were all gearing up on a Saturday morning to go off and fight in the main battle. And I just thought, oh, I feel sorry for a lot of the monsters today. That's not going to be good for any of them. So I think it needs to be a mandatory thing for all new players. They have to go on it, unless they're non-com or low-com, something like that, and they're not intending on taking the battlefield. But I think all players should go on it, and maybe even do one like every 3 years or something, just as a refresher, because I think it's, you forget more than you'd know now. So I mean, I know there's times where I've done it, and like Mark, I've hit people too hard. I know I have, because the hammer I had was really, really soft and squidgy, and you could hit anyone with it as hard as you wanted, and it wouldn't hurt. But the mace, on the other hand, complete opposite. So if they're in different hands, you're then, I'm pulling the blows on the wrong weapon. It all gets up in the air. But I think refreshers and all of that sort of stuff for everybody will just make battles a lot better.
When I first started LARPing years ago, I'd done like a bunch of martial arts beforehand, which involved weapons and swinging and the quarters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So the main issue I had when I got to LARP was that I was missing the opponent by not striking them by a gap of about that much. So I'm swinging in to hit them, and I'm pulling the blows so much that I don't actually make contact, and then coming back around again and going, this isn't working. And it took me a while to actually get used to actually making contact to hit people. Whereas other people who've done other styles, other sports and things, well, some of the skills will transfer. Like footwork is a thing that you can learn from lots of different things. There's only so many ways the human body will work.
Yeah.
And there's only so many ways you can swing a weapon. But when you're going into LARP, you have to get used to the weapons, how they work. Don't stab, even if you're used to stabbing. If you've done a lot of stabbing styles, you'll want to do that, and that will just wreck your sword.
Yeah.
You're swinging the sword full speed, going, it's foam, it won't hurt, you're going to cause bruises. And again, head hits. If you're used to fighting in a style where you can strike the head because everyone's wearing a mask or something. So getting everyone to just get their eye in, figure out how long their weapon is, how hard to swing, and then take into account the fact that when the adrenaline starts running, those people are going to forget some of those skills and panic a little bit. We did have an encounter last year where people were actually so panicked out of character, they were falling over their friends just backing up. And we had to call it, I think, about 3 times for a pause for everyone to get back up on their feet and take a breath and move a little bit more orderly, and they fell over each other again. And just, we don't want people to get hurt, but we want everyone to have the fear, have the adrenaline, have the rush, but don't actually break anyone.
Yeah, and sometimes think a little bit about what could go wrong. Like, I've been there with like armor on and a shield, and someone gets a big two-handed weapon and swings a big overhead blow that's not pulled because they're planning on hitting my shield to be dramatic. But what happens if I've moved my shield, right?
Or step forward.
And I've seen that, or step forward. I've seen somebody do that and just take the blow straight in the face. And someone's like, I'm really sorry, I was planning on hitting your shield. It's like, even if you're going to hit somebody on the shield or on their full plate armor, pull the blow anyway. There's no need to follow through.
Yeah. It was like when a friend of mine broke the claymore, the core over the top of my head. That was because I was like this, ready to block the blow, but because I was moving forwards and I stumbled, so then my hands came down to like stop myself in the floor. It just came straight down on the top of my head, because it went straight on through, and it just literally wrapped around the top of my head. Yeah, that was concussion and straight off. Yeah, no more fighty for me that day. But
hats off to the paramedics and all the first aiders. We salute you.
Oh yeah, they do a great job.
Before COVID, I'd pop into the first aid tent and just give the first aiders a hug to say thanks. Hope I don't see you this event, but you're doing a great job, and then hopefully not see them again for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah.
So the only thing I was gonna add on to that discussion is for players is don't be afraid to drop out of character if you don't understand something. So feel like particularly, and I might be potentially stereotyping people into a corner, but particularly newer players, they feel like they have to know everything or at least pretend they know everything. I've had players drop OC in the middle of a fight to say, I don't understand that call. Like, if I've hit someone with, I don't know, an entangle, perhaps, it's not a call that gets used particularly often. I've had people drop OC and go, I don't know, what does that mean? And I'm quite happy to say briefly what it is, and then they role play it, and it's all fine. But I would say don't be afraid to drop out of character for things like that. We're all learning all the time, so...
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's how you learn. Ask a question. If you don't know, ask. Always ask. I remember I was monstering and I was using a spear. I've never used a spear, and I thought it's the best time to learn it. And I was with a group of spear users, so I was chatting away to them, and I had a spear specific call that I've still forgotten, and so I just didn't even bother. I was just enjoying walking around being a walking hedgehog. It was awesome. It was a lot of fun.
That is one tip I would give to players if you're in your first battle or you've not done it before. If you're put into a unit, mention it to your commander. This is my first battle. It's my first time. Because if they know who the new players are, they can plan accordingly. If they see you're about to get swamped, they can get people to pull you out of a situation. They can get you to move as a unit. Some commanders will actually do drills with their squads before the battles. They'll be like, okay, so if I yell this, it means this. And then when the battle actually happens and the players take the field and we can see them all arrayed out, the unit's already gone, okay, so we have a tactic, we have a trick we can do, we have a thing we can work on. And people love that moment of, we're doing it, we're actually pulling this off, we're actually maneuvering really well. And the crew that are doing it, because you're not playing your character, you're not as worried about the wholesale preservation thing. If you're Jotun, this is your day. You're taking the battlefield with your friends. You're going to march over that abyss with all of these people around you, hopefully over a pile of Imperials bleeding out on the ground. You are here to earn your stripes today. This is the big day. You've been working towards this the entire long dark. And here we go. This is it. So you can just go in with full abandon, just like, yeah, yippee-ki-yay, let's do it. And when you have that moment of, I'm actually working as a unit with a group of people around me aiming for the same thing, it's really wholesome. Wait, that was Skirmish Secrets. I wasn't supposed to tell everyone, was I? If you've been fighting alongside these people, long enough, you know who's good at what. You know people's voices. You can tell when one person's tone has gone up a little bit. Right, okay, Mark needs more support on that side. Okay, Kira's going to need a couple people over that side to reinforce it. No, Kira's pulling back. Okay, dress the left flank. Let's give them room to move. And
talking about recognizing other members of the team as well, also in a way that, like, sometimes on a skirmish, I'm like, oh, okay, there's some players, and they're like, there's 8 of us, there's only 3 of them, let's rush them. And I'm looking, and I'm like, wait, I know who's either side of me. There's 3 of us, there's 8 of them. This will be funny. And like sort of a few seconds later, there's 2 people running away. Get help! Get help!
Yeah,
I always watch Charlie. Charlie is someone to watch. Like,
we've just lost Kira.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I'm now Faith. Faith is now Kira. Mark, you're Steve. Sharon, you're Mark.
All right. Get the clippers out.
I need to get this eyebrow a bit deeper. How do I deepen this?
Just hide the beard. Move the beard up onto the head. There we go.
Rotate your camera 180.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh dear. So I don't know what's happened to Kira there, but hopefully everything's all right. But I mean, to be honest, we've been going for, it's 8:25, so.
Yeah, this is longer than we thought we were going to go for.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm ready to keep going if you guys are.
Wait, you have to say yes, Pete. I do. I'm Steve. So yeah, that's an old one. That one. But yeah, I mean, I think I'll call it that. I mean, I love doing these. I mean, funnily enough, Faith mentioned something in the Discord about hooray. Faith mentioned doing something in the Discord, and so we're gonna have a little chat, because I came up with I think a good thing to do for all of Skirmish, if we can get as many members of Skirmish crew together, and I could cobble together a little YouTube thing, just we get everybody on it, like just to say like best bit about being on Skirmish crew. Put it together purely as an advert for Skirmish crew to get more people to do it.
If you want an editor, I can put that together.
Yeah,
Give me the
because
footage.
I'm shit at it, so yeah, that's fine, mate.
Just during lockdown, you know that meme of "Mother, I crave violence." I did suggest we all just do a video of that, but it's all to Andy and it's all the different Skirmish members. But he knows. He's well aware.
I mean, Freddos are the currency of violence.
Yeah, they really are.
Imagine if the Freddos ran out one day, Anvil would get rolled. We know you guys have got cake. We know there's cake that side of the hedge. We know the sweet things there.
Right.
Definitely. It's Zydor, who's coming from Norway. I think he's planning on getting a hog roast put together for the field. So
Andy, we need to go.
we do all crave Freddos and violence. Definitely. But no, this has been awesome. This has been so much fun. I love chatting to you lot. Skirmish crew always have really good stories, and I love it. I really do love the stories.
I mean, if you weren't here, we'd have no one to fight. So thanks to the players as well for giving us someone to terrify.
Yeah.
No, that's what I meant to say. That is what I meant to say.
Is it Sweden? Sorry, Zyda. Do apologise. But at least it's not Denmark. Yeah. So I've got a Swedish friend, and he says they hate the Danes. Sorry, complete tangent there. Yeah, so I think what we can do we'll do a little Skirmish crew specific little YouTube video. We'll get it all. I'll film it all, and then I'll throw it at Mark to edit it all together, and then we can get it put up on the FD80 channel, and yeah, that'll be really good. Right, are we raiding someone today? Are we, chat? Who's on?
That would be in theme.
Yeah.
Right, we're raiding Anvil.
Yeah.
Yeah. Will a real cabbage pass weapons check? Shut up, Carton. No. it won't. But there has been a Larp safe potato made. That did pass weapons check. So
Ready to go. See a bit of snow.
let's.
Oh no, my mask isn't within.
Right, let's go and raid Mini Arcana.
Raid!
I got a Grendel sword if we need.
Nice. I believe we still got a treaty with the Grendel though at the minute.
Oh, I know. Awful.
We'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah, it's they're not coming up. Why aren't they coming up? Okay, so we're going to go and raid Adorkable Corey instead, because they are there. So, sorry, Mini Arcana, for some reason you're not appearing for me. Go and spread the love. Thank you, Skirmish crew, for coming on and being awesome people.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for fighting constantly.
It's what we love to do.
Yeah.
Excellent. And we'll do this again. Chat, take care, go spread the love. Bye bye.